Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of TJ Plays with some AI stuff. In this edition, I want to show you two things I'm really excited about. One is that I vibe coded this app that I've been thinking about for like 15 years called RateShare, and it's completely ridiculous. That's not the most important part. The most important part is the part I'm going to tell you after, but in order to get to that part, I need to give you a tour of what RateShare is. So basically, what RateShare is this method for posting something, and then the options that you get after you post something is you can rate it, and then you can share it, and then you can comment on it, and then you can comment on someone's rating, and then you can rate someone's comment, and then over and over and over again until it ends up being like this giant web of insanity. So like ideally the what you would do is post something like controversial, like a hot take or something like protein is the most important nutrient, and then like you post it, and then the idea is that someone, I can't judge my own, but someone can come in and reply to it. I can reply to my own if I wanted to, but I could find somebody else's, and then like I could rate theirs and be like, this is a terrible take, and then I can comment on what I just said and say something like, this is the worst opinion I've ever heard, or just something really silly, whatever. And then the cool part is that you can look at the nodes of all the people who have interacted with it. This is just me testing the app, but so you can kind of like go through and see every web of how people connected with it and what they did with it and who they sent it to and what they rated it. So anyway, it's just this giant inception of ridiculousness. But the point is, I vibe coded it. I just had the idea in my head. I had a weekend with Fable 5, and I was like, what better time to just kind of hang out and then see if I can actually bring this thing to life. And it came out pretty good, and I'm happy with it. But what I'm hearing a lot about is in a lot of the work that a lot of the organizations are trying to get around has to do with vibe coded apps that are getting really good and like shippable. Like a lot of these vibe coded apps are essentially things that are very usable but difficult to continuously maintain because they were vibe coded. And the people who are vibe coding these apps could have been from a larger organization who just got granted a endless amount of tokens, and they're all just token maxing and then actually creating things that are valuable for maybe internal consumers of the organization or external consumers of the organization. But they get to a point to where the application has gotten so far ahead of their knowledge of what's in it that it feels unsafe to scale. It's not manageable. It's difficult to build adjacent products for it. But so far, it's effective, and it's like maybe it's generating revenue, or it's doing something that's allowing them to maybe like cancel another application or cancel another service. So I wanted to introduce the Design Systems Extraction tool set for Figma Console MCP. There's a series of tools in here where it'll dig into your repository, into wherever your code base is for the Vibe coded platform. It'll run an analysis. It'll run token extraction. It'll scaffold up. So this is kind of like, if you think about it, it's like the reverse traditional linear path. So instead of starting with a canonical source of design and then moving your way through all the various layers of the design systems workflow to end up in a product, now you're starting with the product and you're kind of reverse engineering that into a Storybook instance. So this will set up Storybook for you. It extracts the components, and then it does a series of evals to ensure that what it extracted actually does match what you have in your production. And you don't have to stop here either. A lot of people who are more code-led organizations would stop here and say, okay, great, I've got everything in Storybook. That's all I need. I'm just going to stop here. But a lot of these organizations, just from experience, feel more comfortable moving things even further down the line and back into a canvas-based interface, so that way, like Figma, so that way they can continue to either use that as a prototyping area or actually make that the canonical source of truth. So I'll put this link in the post or wherever I end up posting this. Let me just show you how it works. So I was just looking at some extraction tools that we have here, and then I have a little directory set up where I put these vibe coded design systems, and rate share is on a sibling directory to the one that I'm in right now. So I'll say, can you please use these token extraction tools on a sibling directory called rate share? And I'd love for you to use all of the token extraction tools, extract the tokens, extract the components, and then run your evals and spin up the Storybook instance so I can manually review it. I'm just going to make sure that rate share, I'm pretty sure we'll figure that out, but. Ooh. Okay. So what this should do is do like this series pretty much in the order of what I had put here. This is kind of the sequence of how they get called. And these are pretty deterministic the way it goes in here. It's going to detect what framework it is. And if it's React, then it's going to load up the React version of Storybook. If it's web components, it'll do web components. If it's Vue, it'll do Vue. But you can go into each one of these tool set descriptions and documentation a little bit deeper to understand exactly what it's doing when it gets in there. But for right now, we'll just read along with what it's doing. So it's going to run the full extraction pipeline. Great. It found the directory. There it is. And let's see what happens. All right, it found my design systems extraction directory. It's going to put the rate share -ds in there. It's going for the Storybook install now. And React Beat. Okay, great. A lot of these things I didn't even know about rate share, to be honest. Like, I wasn't really quite concerned with what was under the hood when I was vibe coding it. I was just wanting it to do the thing that I wanted it to do, which is this bizarre interaction between people's posting and rating and sharing. But now I'm finding out what's under it. So it enters the typeface. I think I knew that just by seeing it, though. All right, Storybook fully wired up. Okay, so now it found 21 components. Running deterministic valuation. Excellent. This is probably when it'll invoke Playwright. Playwright, if you haven't heard of it before, it's this method for self-evaluation, but where it opens up its own test browser. And this is actually the iframe that it's opening up from within Storybook, so that way it gets a full view into the actual rendered component and not through the iframe window that Storybook provides. All right, let's see. So we got tokens, primitives, governance, things worth taking a look at, design token stock. Let's see, when you're ready for the design-led leg. All right, well, hold off on that. Did it give me a URL? There it is. Okay. And then here we go. So here's some iconography that I grabbed, which is really just, I think, just that star. And then here are the token extractions. So this is the dimensions, this is the values, this is the kind of the render display of what that might look like. Not a whole lot going on with typography on this site. Also not a whole lot going on with the color palette either. It's fairly plain, to be honest. There's not really, there's like 3 different size typefaces in here. And they got these semantic colors. Okay, and then typography, that looks about right. Just the 3. But here's some components. This is great. So we have like this action bar. We have different versions of it where it's been interacted with. Let's look at something like this left nav. So we know what that looks like. That's this guy. And we have some parts that I probably haven't even seen within the site yet because I haven't gotten that deep with it. It's even got, here's the canvas. That's awesome. It pulled that. And then here's some of the atomic items like the buttons, We got some avatar sizes. We got some hues on those avatars. That's pretty cool because you can see what it does is like teal thing. Love that. Card, pretty standard card. And then let's go up to some of the larger order components. Okay, we got the little post area here with the input field. Let's see, we got, that's kind of boring, a node card. So this would be like the standard thing that you would see in your feed and all these little interactive elements. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So anyway, if you are working with organization, or if you are uh, part of an organization that is just swimming out way deep into the waters and then can't really find the shore and need a way to either scale or manage what you currently have or create adjacent products using the same canonical source, I highly recommend you check this out. Anyway, please let me know if this is helpful at all, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks, everybody.